For those of you out there that have never seen a Pixar movie or have thought about watching one but were maybe a bit skeptical about it, this video is directed to you. Because in this video, I'm going to be talking about some things that I love the most about Pixar movies in an effort to convince you that you should also consider adding Pixar movies to your list of things you should watch. So here are a few reasons why you should watch Pixar movies. One thing that stands out the most about Pixar movies is that they are all different and tell unique stories and contain unique characters. All of them are different. They're set in, like, some of them are set on Earth, but, like, they're not really connected to each other. And they tell a unique, interesting story. Like, on one hand, you have toys that come to life, and that the movie's based on how the toys try to get along with each other while living in a world where the humans don't know that they come to life and they have their own lives and everything else. And then on another hand, you have talking fish and Finding Nemo. They go on an adventure through the ocean and things like that. It's like every one of these stories brings something unique to the table and even brings us to different worlds that we can't normally explore in our everyday lives. And the way these stories are conveyed, like through the animations and the the dialogue and everything else, and even the actors that voice these characters, just makes it all an interesting and fun experience that anyone, not just kids, can enjoy. Like, that's another thing too. It's like you can be an adult and enjoy these movies. You don't just have to be a kid, because there's things in here for the kids, like the way the wackiness of the characters and things like that are mainly for kids. But then you also have, like, references to, like, being an adult and all this stuff, or things that adults would understand, like, oh yeah, I have that struggle or whatever. Everything in the movies is portrayed for kids and adults alike. So it's not just, so the stories are for everyone. So they're all family friendly. You can sit down with your families and just watch them no matter what age you are. If you're like a young kid, you enjoy the bright, vibrant colors of the worlds that are created in these movies. And then if you're an adult, you can appreciate, like, the humor or the sarcasm or the everyday lives of these characters, whatever it is that they're going through in the movie. Like, and they're easy to understand for the most part. Like, none of them are really convoluted plots, and each movie stands out differently than the other movies do. So, like, you get something different from every one of the Pixar movies that can be enjoyed by anyone. Another thing about Pixar movies that makes them so unique is that they're completely rewatchable because of how innocent and relaxing they are too. Like, none of them should really be taken seriously. Like, I think every Pixar movie at least contains a few scenes that are, are supposed to give you a laugh and are geared toward, people who enjoy comedy and things like that. Like, they're funny and fun to just sit back and watch. And one of the reasons that they're so rewatchable is because of how good the story is, or how easy the story is to understand. Like, I can personally, in my head right now, think of the plot of, like, 5 different Pixar movies that I've seen so many times, like Toy Story, Finding Nemo, Cars. Like, I can think of, without actually going back and watching the movies, they're in my head. Like, I can remember in great detail most of the stuff that occurs in each of these movies, because they're so rewatchable, because you can sit down and they're easy to understand. And another reason that you can rewatch them too is because so many of them contain countless hidden references and Easter eggs that you may not have noticed the first time around. So now you want to go back and watch it again. Like, oh, I didn't catch that the first time, but I found out about this online or whatever, or somebody told me about it. Hey, did you see that happen in this scene? And then you go back and watch the movies again, and now you've caught it this time. Like, I still haven't seen some of the stuff. Like, I've seen it online, like I said, and I go back and rewatch these movies, and there's there's still something new that sticks out to me that I didn't see the first time, because you're so embroiled with the story and everything else that you don't pay attention to the background stuff. And here there's an Easter egg or a reference to either another Pixar movie or just another movie in general, or some kind of reference to something that happens in real life, or Pixar studios themselves. They love to hide wacky things in the movies, or even connect or make it seem like the movies are connected together through the Easter eggs that they put in here. Like, you might see a movie poster, you might see a hidden poster for another movie that's coming up that hasn't even come out yet in the Pixar universe, in a different movie. So I think there was in Cars, there was a picture of a billboard that said the Incredimobiles, which is a reference to the Incredibles movie that I think probably came out after Cars, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it already had come out. But they like to reference their own movies throughout it and everything else. And if you didn't catch that the first time around, this makes you want to go back and look for it again. That's one of the most unique things about Pixar movies is, all the hidden references and the detail they put into these. This is just incredible animation that they use to convey and portray all these characters. It's something I've never really seen before, and I don't know how they do it. It's just incredible to me because it seems almost lifelike. If you go in and look at these characters and the animation that was put in, they look so real, and it's so captivating. It's just amazing to me. I don't know how they do it, but that's why that's one reason to appreciate and go in and watch Pixar movies, because of how unique all the animation style and all the characters are and everything else. It's just fun to watch. And the most important thing I think about Pixar movies is that most of them teach a lesson about different aspects of life. You have some movies contain things about overcoming grief or loss and what that means to these characters and what that means to us as people in real life, Or there's being accepting of others and their differences, like in Toy Story, when Buzz Lightyear comes in, he's a space ranger, Woody's a cowboy, and they have to try and get along with each other, and things like that. So it's respecting others and accepting others for who they are and their differences, and even making new friends is a theme, or enjoying and respecting the life you've been given, and keeping our planet Earth safe and healthy and everything else. It's so many different themes exist throughout all these movies, and I think that's the best part of Pixar movies overall, is that even with all the unique stories and the unique places they take us and everything else and all the wacky, weird stuff that occurs in most of the movies, there's a hidden life lesson in there as well. And that's another reason you might want to rewatch it too. You might not have caught that theme the first time around, and now when you go back and rewatch it again and you focus on the story rather than the weird things that go on, if you really focus on the story and just pull out the story from the rest of the movie, you realize, hey, there was a life lesson in there. This actually taught, if it doesn't even teach you something, it may have taught some kid or some other adult that watches it something as well. These movies are just so incredible in everything that they do. And even watching them in theaters and stuff, you hear everybody laughing and having a good time. And so there's nothing too serious about these movies. Even when they do have, they have their sad moments, they have their funny moments, whatever. They do a nice blend of, happy, sad, funny, comedy stuff mixed with just weird stuff that happened, whatever, to fit in with the world that they're creating in each individual movie. And that's what I like the most about Pixar movies, and why you should consider watching Pixar movies yourself. But if you have seen Pixar movies, let others know down in the comments section why, what you like the most about them, what your favorite Pixar movie is and why. And be sure to like this video and subscribe for more. We like to talk about movies every Sunday. We'll try to do more things for Pixar movies probably, but I hope that I have managed to convince you even if it's a little tiny bit, I hope that I've managed to convince you to go in and watch a Pixar movie or two, because I'm telling you, you will love them. Whichever one you choose to watch, I don't even have a suggestion because they're all so good. I enjoy watching all of them, and I'll probably enjoy watching them until the end of my life. However long Pixar goes. But I hope I've convinced you to also want to watch these movies. So thank you for watching my video, everyone, and we'll see you in the next one.
Subscribe.